So let's jump right into our first embassy, and this is the U.S. Embassy in Manila. U.S. Embassy in Manila, Philippines resumed routine visa services, but the wait times are still very long to get an interview at this post, much longer than before the pandemic. Remember, this embassy was shut down for a long time, and they've only reopened recently, sometime in late 2022. Currently, they are working on cases that were received at this embassy in beginning of December 3rd, December 4th, and they are processing them right now. As you can see, we're almost at the end of January, and they're only processing cases that they were received for interviews in beginning of December. So it just shows you what the backlog looks like at this post. And of course, a lot of the bigger posts, we're going to cover them as well in this video, are having similar experiences. They are processing IR1, CR1 cases, as well as non-immigrant visas. The wait time for tourist visas at that post is over 18 months currently in Manila. Moving to the U.S. Embassy in Lagos, Nigeria. This embassy is working on limited visa services. They have not reopened fully as of the recording of this video. They are processing IR1, CR1 cases, and cases that were actually received in this embassy. We have reports of K1 visas that were received at the embassy in late November. They are being processed right now. Late November, early December cases are being processed right now. Backlogs are pretty severe at this embassy in Lagos. The good thing about Lagos is that they are very responsive to emails. So if you have a case pending at this post, you can email them and you're going to get a response in less than 7 days. And also make sure that if you have a case designated to Lagos, be mindful and follow up with the National Visa Center. Remember, the National Visa Center is not able to send the case to the embassy until a particular embassy will open an interview slot. And in the case of Lagos, they are not opening enough interview slots, and therefore, if you are waiting to get an interview there, whether it's a K1, whether it's an IR1, CR1 case, or a non-immigrant visa, the wait times are going to be pretty significant because this particular embassy is understaffed, and you're going to see that cases are going to be definitely taking longer to process. And again, a good example is that even those cases that were received there late November, beginning of December, are only being processed at the moment. So just to give you an idea of what a backlog looks like at the moment. Moving to Mexico, U.S. Embassy in Ciudad Juarez, one of the main embassies over there. All consulates and embassies in Mexico are working on limited capacity. They have not fully reopened. Yes, they're processing cases. Yes, they're processing cases at capacity, but they're not fully reopened. And again, could be reasons for country conditions, could be decision of the consular affairs unit at that particular country. But the bottom line is that if you're waiting for an IR1, CR1, a non-immigrant visa at a U.S. embassy or consulate in Mexico, you're going to be waiting a long time. We have no idea at the moment what cases are being processed at the embassy, but once we do, we will obviously update you. Sometimes we know, like I said, we have information from Lagos and Manila. It's hard to know, but what we do know is that NVC has a lot of cases that are documentary qualified and are pending to go to Mexico. And remember that a lot of cases are not able to get interviews scheduled because a lot of applicants who are designated to Ciudad Juarez are waiting for their waivers, their hardship waivers to be processed. And until a hardship waiver is approved and adjudicated, an embassy will not schedule your interview. And sometimes when they do schedule the interview, our recommendation for clients is to reschedule that interview because there is no point for you to attend an interview if you don't have an approved hardship waiver. So keep in mind and be mindful of what's happening with the U.S. Embassy in Mexico. To the United Kingdom, U.S. Embassies in London and Belfast resumed routine visa services. And while they resumed routine visa services, appointments still remain limited because it seems that London is taking also third country nationals. So this embassy is really busy. And again, if you have a case designated to go to London, make sure that you follow up with this embassy. It is hard to receive communication from them recently. It was really different in mid to early 2022, but now responses are taking over 14 days. So if you have a case designated to go to London, make sure you work with the National Visa Center and with the embassy to figure out when an interview will be scheduled. Our understanding is that, and again, it's not confirmed, but some of these CR1 cases that are going through London are cases that were documentary qualified in late August 2021, beginning of September, and some of these cases are being processed at the moment. Now, yeah, it doesn't mean that cases that were documentary qualified later are not processed in London, but from reports that we've seen from our own private Facebook group, which has over 12,000 members, and other communities that we are part of, and sometimes we do data research, and again, this data is only based on the research that we do, that we provide back to you. And obviously this is not guaranteed science, but we've seen a lot of cases that are being document qualified at the end of 2021, sometimes end of summer 2021, that are being processed at the moment. So it's just something to keep in mind. Again, some of these bigger embassies, consulates, the backlog is so severe that they're not able to open interview slots, and therefore NVC is stuck sitting on those cases. So again, I've made a video before explaining the confusion. Sometimes you'll call NVC and they'll tell you that the case is already the embassy, and sometimes you call the embassy and they'll tell you the opposite. Remember that if an embassy have not opened an interview slot, your case is most likely still waiting and sitting at the National Visa Center. Moving to the Dominican Republic, the U.S. Embassy in Santo Domingo is open and open to routine visa services. They're interviewing immigrant and non-immigrant visa cases. They're processing IR1 and CR1 cases. And this embassy is also taking third country nationals. We've seen a lot of people that are moving to this embassy specifically for non-immigrant visas. We had quite a few O1 and H1B cases that were not able to get interviews in their home country, and the embassy in Santo Domingo were able to accept them. And so keep in mind, if you have a non-immigrant visa and you need to get a stamp, this is a good embassy to consider if your home country is backlogged. Specifically, a lot of our Australian clients and Canadian clients that are not able to get interviews in their home countries, we send them to the Dominican Republic, and they are getting interviews quite fast. In terms of immigrant visas, they're still quite slow, but they are processing cases, and because it's a small country, if you are designated for the Dominican Republic, I think that you should be getting interviews sooner than later. So we'll keep you posted once we have more data specifically about which cases are actually documented qualified and being interviewed at this post. We'll let you know, of course, at this channel. So that's why it's very important for you to subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos. And as always, if you need help with any of your immigration matters, if your case is stuck, if you need to expedite, or sometimes, clients that are pending over 2 years, sometimes we need to resort to litigation and sue the government to get interviews faster, which happens for us every single day. If you need help, all you have to do is text me right here, 619-483-4549, and I'm here to help you. Moving to the U.S. Embassy in Bangkok, Thailand. This embassy resumed routine visa services, and they've been open. This was actually one of the embassies, one of the first to reopen routine visa services, and they're doing a really good job. They have a large facility, they have a lot more staff over there, and they're processing cases quite fast. Again, we've seen a lot of delays for K1 applicants coming from this particular post, but in terms of IR1, CR1 cases, once they get an interview, they're being processed quite fast. Again, there's definitely been a big backlog for the U.S. Embassy in Bangkok as well, and therefore a lot of cases designated to go to this particular post are still stuck at National Visa Center. It is my understanding that Bangkok is not taking as many third country nationals as they used to in 2022, and that is because of their backlog as well. They're trying to catch up on the backlog. So if you're trying to get your case out of, for example, Manila or other country in the region, Bangkok is not as easy to work with as before. Again, things can change on a weekly or monthly basis, and the information that you're receiving in this video could be different in a couple of weeks. So it's really important to check. But again, Bangkok is working pretty normally right now, and we hope to see better results from this particular post. I'm very happy with the response time we get from this particular embassy. Less than a week to get an email back response, which is really important, especially if you're an attorney working with this consulate, or also a client trying to get information. Really very pleasant to work with this embassy, giving them a big thumbs up. Moving to U.S. embassies in Brazil, U.S. Embassy in Rio and Sao Paulo resumed routine visa services, but because embassies in Brazil were closed for a long time, the backlog is pretty severe. We have no information about the staffing situation in Brazil, but we definitely know that they're being really delayed, and therefore, if your case is designated for Brazil, it's just going to take a long time. They are already open to emergency appointments and expedited. So if NVC recommends expedite your petition in Brazil, specifically IR1 cases, then you should definitely try that, especially if you haven't tried it in the past 6 months. I would highly encourage you to try to see if your case could be qualified for an expedite, specifically for this particular post, because once NVC recommends the case to be expedited, U.S. embassies in Brazil will entertain an emergency appointment, and you'll be able to get your interview faster. So again, they are open, they are working, they're not taking any third country nationals as far as we know right now. So we'll keep you posted about what's happening at this post in our next video as well. Moving to Cuba, it's the first time we're reporting about the U.S. Embassy in Cuba. The U.S. Embassy in Cuba resumed full operation. They're back to routine visa services, the first time since 2017. Reports are that they are processing full immigrant visas as well as non-immigrant visas. We don't really have report about capacity and speed of processing. Hopefully I'll be able to do that next video. But it's pretty exciting that it's open, it's operational. They have new staff over there and it's working, so pretty amazing news. Moving to Colombia, the U.S. Embassy in Bogota resumed routine visa services. They are processing K1 visas, IR1, CR1 cases, IR5 cases, and non-immigrant visas. Specifically, a lot of H1B cases are coming from Colombia right now. They are working pretty good. So again, if you have a case designated for Colombia, expect even better processing there. We expect NVC to be sending even more cases to Bogota as they are reopening. The only thing is that it's very difficult to get a hold of this particular post. They're not responding to emails as fast as we expect, and hopefully they will catch up. But for the moment, it's taken over 30 days to receive a response from Bogota, based on our experience. Moving to India, U.S. Embassy in Mumbai reopened and resumed all routine visa services. They are processing IR1 cases, CR1 cases, and also K1 visas, as well as non-immigrant visas, a lot of F1 visas. In fact, the post in Mumbai is one of the largest in the world to issue student visas in 2022, and we feel like it's going to continue as well in 2023. For the moment, cases that were received in the embassy in mid-December are being processed at the moment, so we're looking at about a month delay from time of receipt. That's pretty much all the information we have in terms of time of cases processed. We don't have any information about which cases that are documentary qualified are currently being processed over there, but once we do, I promise to do another video update. Overall, it's pretty good news. They are catching up. They have more staff. This embassy is providing updates. Their consular affairs division is really active. This is a really, really good post. They've done a really amazing job in catching up, and we hope that they'll continue to do so as well. Response time from this post is under 14 days, pretty good as well. And again, if you have a case designated for India, if you're behind, if the expedite doesn't work, and you've been waiting for really a long time, over 2 years or more, depends on the case obviously, but sometimes trying to go for litigation could be helpful. So once again, let me know if you do need help with that. We can really analyze and assess to see if your case qualifies for litigation to speed it up. Moving to Pakistan, the U.S. Embassy Islamabad is working on limited capacity at the moment. They are fully staffed, they are working, they're trying to speed up processing in this particular post. Definitely better than 6 months ago, but they're still very much behind. And the good news is that they are entertaining expedited if you meet the requirements, because they realize that people are waiting for too long. So if NVC recommends your case to be expedited, the U.S. Embassy in Islamabad will approve your request for an emergency appointment. In terms of non-immigrant visas, it's been really slow. It takes forever to get an appointment for a tourist visa. Reporting student visas being delayed, as well as H1Bs. So, and the rate of denials for tourist visas in Islamabad is really, really high. We've never seen such a number of denials for people who are really qualified, entrepreneurs, business people, families with relatives in the US. We have no idea why it's happening, but it's definitely been an uptick in denials in Islamabad for visitor visas. So once again, if your case is designated for Islamabad, remember that it is going to take forever. It's going to take a long time for a case to be processed. So make sure you keep track of NVC processing and be in touch with the embassy to see when your case could be scheduled as well. Moving to China, because of the surge in COVID cases in this country, all embassies and consulates are not working on routine visa services. In fact, most embassies and consulates there are shut down. They only operate on an emergency basis. So if you have cases designated to China, it's going to be a long wait, and sometimes and a lot of our clients are opting to move their cases to other countries. So if you're able to do so, if you have a good reason, I definitely recommend for you to try that, because it's going to take a while for for a lot of these posts to reopen and resume routine visa services. Moving to Indonesia, Jakarta, the U.S. Embassy in Jakarta is open for routine visa services. They're processing immigrant and non-immigrant visas, CR1s, IR1s, K1 visas. They have an increase in approvals of K-1 visas in the past couple of months, which is great. And also, this embassy is accepting third country nationals. So it's really important if you are thinking about moving your case somewhere else, just make sure you email the post before, get an approval, and only then communicate with NVC. Canada, U.S. embassies in Canada have resumed routine visa services. It's really on a case by case. It's kind of interesting because even though they are reporting normal operations, it's not really the case. Long wait times for a lot of applications, specifically E2 visa cases are taking forever to be processed. IR1, CR1 cases are working fine, but again, a lot of people are waiting for a long time and it's very unclear how they are going to make it better. Canada used to be a third country national, very popular post, and right now it's really difficult to get an appointment there. It's frustrating because it's so close to the United States, it makes it very convenient to go and get an interview there, but right now it's not very feasible to do so. So hopefully they'll be able to catch up on their operations and we'll be able to give you better news in the next few months. U.S. Embassy in Tel Aviv resumed routine visa services. They are processing IR1, CR1 cases, non-immigrant visas. A lot of E2 visas are being processed at this post and they're going pretty fast. And also, we have reports that the U.S. Embassy in Tel Aviv is taking cases, third country national cases, a lot of cases from Eastern Europe. We have a lot of Ukrainian cases, a lot of people who are designated for Russia and other European countries are trying and able to get interviews in Tel Aviv. So it is a good post to consider if you're trying to get your case transferred. So this is the summary for our embassies this week. If we haven't covered your embassy, please let me know in the comments and we'll try to add them next time. Once again, if you find value in this video, please share it with somebody that might need this information. And as always, if you need my help with any of your immigration matters, all you have to do is send me a text, 619-483-4549, and I'm here to help you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.